Hello, all. Welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode 69, take 2. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm up here, of course, with my two co-hosts, Little Steve Schwim and Baby Sarah.
And Melvin.
We are brought to you by Primetime Radio
Spaghetti.
Brought to you Primetime of Curtis. Brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Sam Wu, who is now taking over the controls because my dumb, stupid computer doesn't want to turn on and record or stream. I don't understand what happened, but we're back. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you would be so kind. Boys, what are we drinking?
Hit
Look
it.
what I got.
I see
Except-
a dark glass.
Shipyard?
Except it's not Shipyard, sorry. But it is pumpkin. See pumpkin on it?
Ooh, pumpkin.
Today? I don't even know if I drank this
might
the other
have
day.
missed pumpkin season, though.
I'm running out of... I have... All my beers in my fridge are currently like 15% or higher, so I need
Ooh, nice.
the 8.6 Warlock Imperial Stout. Pumpkin. This is my favorite pumpkin beer, by the way, in case anybody's
Very
wondering if you wanted to get me a birthday
Warlock
present.
is really good.
Actually, don't get me Warlock for my birthday. I do enjoy it, but you can do better.
I think I could do better for you. Don't worry. Schwim?
I am drinking something that's called Zombie of Darkness. I don't know. Can you see it?
I
Yeah,
can.
it's a glare.
We can.
Pretty cool can artwork. It's
Yeah.
I think it's a double IPA. Yeah, West Coast double IPA with all these different hops. 8%. I'm going straight 8. Beer zombies.
Yeah, very nice. Talking to Sam on behind the scenes, and he's like, "Yeah, we should meet up for afternoon. Doing it remotely and clicking the mouse may need a little practice." Apparently, I can't click a mouse. Sam, I agree. No, Sam is the best. He is trying to teach.
Show
me
Sarah how to do it. She'll do it.
Yeah, she could probably do better. He's trying to teach me how to do the producing so that we can make this a little more streamlined. And my idiot rear could not, I guess, get it to record or stream, even though I pressed the button like I double clicked like you would normally do to open a file. So apparently that's not how you do it. But anyways, my beer, as my daughter looks at me in amazement that I am her dad. Yes, that's true. This past weekend I went to Boston and I went on a little beer tour, and I went to two of, I think, one of the better breweries in the U.S. Treehouse Brewing, which is in Carleton, Massachusetts, and I got a bunch of beers, but this one is, and I'm drinking this because Steve can't. It is Creamsicle by Treehouse.
On purpose. I like
it. Keeping the streak alive.
But that's why I had. Hold on. I sent you last week a vegan meal that I had in New York City, which was delicious. I'm looking out for my buddy, but yeah, I do get the beers that still have some delicious lactose in it.
There's
it's
nothing
really,
delicious about lactose.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything for the beer. It just makes it, I guess, frothy, but I don't really need that. But it's so this is Julius, which is their peach beer, and it's conditioned on vanilla beans. So they made it into a creamsicle. So I'm going to try this, and hopefully it is delicious.
Like an orange Julius. Have you ever had an orange Julius, William?
I have. Yes, I have.
Okay.
You've been to the Orange Julius stand.
Look at this pour.
That's a good pour.
Yep. So anyways, I went to Carleton, went to Treehouse, and then I went to Boston. I went to Trillium, which was really good as well. I will be partaking with the guys here in some raspberry sours, which were really good.
Yep.
And it does not have lactose in it, so Steve will be very happy. But yeah, so it was a good trip, and I've actually set up the man cave, but I don't want to move my computer because when I do, it seems to log me off. So I will eventually show the nice gentlemen and ladies that watch us. I'll show them the man cave because I'm sure that's exactly what they want to see from this podcast.
It's a gentleman's cave.
Everyone's on the edge of their seat.
It is.
I know. I can wait.
Boys, let's get to what's on tap for today's episode. Here's a weekly snapshot.
Let us.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the standings. It is a little nuts. There are some teams that, this far in, I did not think would be where they are. At the top of the Metro, you have Carolina at 14-2. I mean, they are on fire right now. Washington 11-3, the 5 overtime losses, and then the Rangers at 11-4-3. That rounds at the top 3. Unfortunately, Steve's Pittsburgh Penguins are 7-6-4. Obviously, very injured, but also 17 games. They are 7th in the Metro. The Isles, those fancy Isles, 5-8-2, looking very good at the bottom of the standings.
Dead
In
last.
the Atlantic, and the baby's trying to go for the beer. In the Atlantic, Florida Panthers 13-2-3. Rangers obviously gave them their first regulation loss. I was at the Garden last week. 2 weeks ago when we missed our pod. We've been away for 2 weeks, but saw that game. Was very entertaining. Toronto at 13-6-1, and then Tampa 10-4-3. They are the injury bugs.
Now they are.
Hence the title, both of injuries. But Kucherov and Point both on long-term injury reserve. They're just stocking away for the playoffs, right? They're just going to add a couple. Who do you think they're going to add? They can't add Eichel, but who do you think they add during the regular season so that they don't have to worry? Phil the Thrill Kessel. Very good.
Chernak's out too, so they're missing him.
Yeah. Montreal at 5-3-2 sits at 7th.
They're bad.
Not surprising.
Yeah,
They look horrible.
They're bad.
Detroit at 4, at 8-9-3
With a
still
losing
under
record.
500.
With a losing
but they're in
record
fourth
at 4.
division. Boston
crazy.
at 9-6, but they've only played 15 games compared to Detroit's 20. That is a big discrepancy.
I don't even know how that.
in
I
the
don't,
Western-
I don't even get it. Like, why have they played
Yeah.
so few games?
I don't know. And then the discrepancy, well, not a discrepancy. This is where it gets fun, is in the Western Conference. Minnesota sits number 1 in the Central, 11-6-1, 23 points. The Peg, 9-4-4 at second, and then St. Louis Blues, third at 9-6-2. 5th is Colorado, 6th is Dallas, and then 7 and 8 are Chicago and Arizona. Obviously, Colorado only playing 14 games, but they still haven't exactly been the Avalanche you saw last year or the year before that. And then the Pacific Division, Calgary sits in the lead at 11-3-5, 27 points. They've been red hot. Edmonton 2, and then you have Anaheim, and then Vegas, and then the Kings at 3-4-5. Vancouver.
You know what I find craziest about Calgary? Plus 27 goal differential.
Yes. I think
that's more surprising than the record. That's the best goal differential.
I would say Carolina's at plus 24, and so is Florida. But yeah, they're the best. Do you know who the worst
scoring
is?
and defense has been a problem for the last 2 years, and now
actually it's
the
not
blows.
Who the worst is?
We all know who the worst is.
Arizona.
Gotta be. Arizona minus 35 in 19 games, minus 35. That is atrocious. And then Chicago at minus 18, and you also have Montreal at minus 26, the defending Eastern Conference champion Montreal Canadiens at 5-13-2. They need a shake-up bad, but we'll get to them in a second.
They're not really a conference champion.
Wouldn't Tampa be more considered the Eastern Conference champion?
Neither were. Neither one either.
Sorry, they won.
Because they didn't get a banner, or did they get the Prince of Wales trophy or?
They should
get
a banner.
Whatever division, I guess, a banner and the Stanley Cup banner, right?
No, there was no division. There was no East Division. There was no West Division. It was. It just ended up that way. It ended up that way because of the trophies. Was it the Prince of Wales, and what the hell's the other one?
Delicious.
Prince of Wales trophy is for the East, right? And what's for the West?
Prince of Wales and
whatever it is for the West. That's what. So Montreal won that. So yeah, I guess technically you can consider it the West, but the way the playoffs were broken down, there was no Eastern Conference Championship. There was no Western Conference Championship. It was strictly semifinals, and then they presented the trophies. I don't know how they decided that, who gets what, but
it's the Prince of Wales.
Yeah, they're whatever trophy. I guess I don't know if they have a banner. Did they get a banner for it? I have no idea.
Oh, is it the Clarence Campbell S Bowl? No. What is the stupid other Western Conference?
I think it is. Isn't it the Clarence Campbell, whatever?
It shows how much we pay attention to that trophy. Nobody really cares.
I know. Yeah,
nobody cares.
Yeah, it's Clarence.
Even the
Clarence
fans
Campbell
don't care.
Clarence S. Campbell Bowl. The Prince of Wales is so much cooler. It's got Prince in it and Clarence Campbell.
So I wonder. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know if you noticed anything about Tampa, if they got a Prince of Wales trophy winner banner from last year, or is it strictly the Stanley Cup?
I guess if you win the Stanley Cup, you'd rather have the Stanley Cup banner and just say screw.
Obviously,
you won the
but
whole thing, right? You won everything.
You get both. No, but when you win the Stanley Cup, you get both. You get the Eastern Conference Championship with the year, and then you get the Stanley Cup Championship banner. You get both of them. So I don't know if these guys got a banner for it. I have no idea.
I'm about to go there and check out the rafters. That should be another.
By the way, I have a trivia question for you guys. Well, not really trivia, but more of a fact, which is fantastic for the Art Ross. But we'll talk about that later. In COVID outbreak news, the Senators had their last 3 games postponed. I think 4 actually. Jake Batherson, Josh Norris, Steve's other world goalie Matt Murray, and 7 other players tested positive, along with Jack Capuano. And obviously it affected some games. Yep, he's the assistant coach. Who apparently he's the assistant coach that apparently was asked about from multiple teams, according to Elliot Freeman, and they didn't want to let him go. The Senators want to keep him on their staff, and I guess he's a hot commodity in the coaching world. Jack Capuano, who failed as an Islanders coach, but I have no idea. But here's my question. How does this affect the Olympics? Do you think that the NHL sees this kind of outbreak and is a little obviously worried that if they send their players over to is it China? It's China, right?
Yeah, Beijing.
It's China. Yeah, Beijing.
If they send it to Beijing, do they have to worry about something like this wrecking the second half of their season?
Potentially, but
I think they definitely have to worry about it.
There's I don't know if you guys have been following up on the protocols and regulations for the Olympics in Beijing. They are as strict as they get. I think even more so than this past Summer Olympics. They're pretty crazy. Same with I was reading up for the World Cup in Qatar next year. The rules are wild. But yeah, I'm sure it is. But they can't back out of it. They already have an agreement. So,
yeah, and they already. But I mean,
it's been largely kept under control. This has been the worst of it. I mean, Pittsburgh has had. I don't want to. Maybe you can call it lucky. It's not lucky because I'm sure they would have loved some games postponed when they were playing with, Wilkes-Barre squad Team A.
Yeah.
They're lucky that they have a record that they do now with the severe lack of talent that they've had in this lineup throughout the entire season. But they've had a sprinkle of COVID cases, and it was just like never ending for the first bunch of weeks. Currently, knock on wood, they don't have any now, but this was the worst one. I guess it takes 10 players. That's what they're saying. Ottawa had 10 players, and that's what it takes to postpone games. But otherwise, it's been. I mean, we've seen cases. We're going to continue to see cases. It's just the reality of the situation. It's getting colder. People are indoors, hanging out for doing whatever. So
holidays now. Holidays.
That's why they call it flu season. So you're going to see it more. It's just a matter of how we deal with it, because this is the new normal. So I don't think this COVID thing. I don't think it's going to change anything with the Olympics. I hope it doesn't. I can't imagine it would, but yeah, I'm sure it's a concern with these players leaving and coming back. I don't know if they're going to implement some kind of quarantine when they get back. We'll see.
I could see them doing a quarantine. I can see them doing a quarantine type thing when they come back. I think that would actually be pretty smart to do.
Well, they're all vaccinated, so I don't know if they'll require a quarantine if they're all vaccinated.
Is everybody in the league vaccinated except for like a couple people?
Just
Tyler
one.
Bertuzzi,
what's his name? Bertuzzi's the only one.
He's the only one now? Wow.
Yeah, because it was the goalie. It was Blackwood, right? And then
Blackwood was one of them. He's got one at least. I don't know if he's got his booster yet, but he's got the one.
Yeah. So
I don't know. We'll see when we get there. We got some. I mean, these next couple months, like December, January, February, is prime flu season. So we'll see where we go from here.
Yep. All right. So back to the little list I got here. Trevor Zegras' overtime celebration penalty. First of all, do you guys see this overtime celebration where he threw the stick in the stands after scoring the game winner?
Oh, yeah.
I still like that.
Yeah, and then he got a misconduct penalty for celebrations.
Really?
I mean, he got a misconduct penalty for it. So I guess my question is Is there a celebration that's too much and that you should get penalized for?
Unless you're like completely taunting the other team.
Yeah.
That would be it. Otherwise, whatever exuberance you show. I mean, I don't know about throwing your stick into the stands. If there's some sort of like endangerment there, I think it's pretty great. The fans probably think it's pretty great. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could hurt somebody doing it, so you got to be careful. Yeah. But it's still funny. Obviously, nobody was hurt. I'm sure whoever got the stick is on cloud 9 right now. But
yeah,
I don't know. I like celebrations. Everybody likes celebrations, but unless you're like in the face of somebody rubbing it in, I don't think there should be any limit to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Unless it's really stupid. If you have a really stupid celebration, then you should get penalized just on principle.
Don't be like the NFL and make it not fun anymore. We just have the greatest celebrations in the NFL, and now there's nothing. Now it's just guys dancing with themselves in the end zone.
It is just guys dancing. It's ridiculous. It's and it's bad moves too.
It's not good.
They're talking about a lot of news about the Hall of Fame inductees and who's available. Obviously, the Sedins. You got guys like Jarome Iginla. I know you guys.
Jerome, there it is again.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm doing it on purpose. You do know that, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, it just keeps going out, even though I've multiple times. I mean, so the locks, right? I think Daniel and Henrik Sedin are locks. Would you say?
McGillney should absolutely.
He should be a lock. Yes.
Before anybody, I think at this point.
Yeah.
Who else is eligible?
Gonchar, Sergei Gonchar, I think is a pretty good candidate. Sergei Gonchar.
So obviously, the 2021 class, right, was Iginla, Marion. Sorry, I screwed that up a little bit. The 2021 class was Iginla, Marion Hossa, Kevin Lowe, Doug Wilson, Kim St. Pierre, and Ken Holland. Now, the ones for 2022 that are available are Daniel and Henrik Sedin, Caroline Ouellet, who's that Canadian, like, she's fantastic for women's hockey, and she should very much be a Hall of Famer. The probably shoulds is maybe it's Alfredson, Red Berenson in the builder category. Jennifer Botterill is really, obviously a three-time Olympic gold medalist. She's, I think, one of Canada's point per game players for international play. Robbie Luongo, which I think he'll be in the Hall. Alexander McGillney, who absolutely should. I mean, a 76-goal season. He had multiple 50-goal seasons. The whole defection from the Soviet Union, which is, led to all these players, including guys like Sergei Fedorov and Pavel Bure.
He's number one in my book at this point.
There. Yep. And then I didn't realize this. Viktor Tikhonov, obviously the head coach of the dominant Red Machine.
Taken off.
I thought it was Tikhonov, whatever. He should absolutely be in there. I know everyone thinks about him in the 80s Olympics and losing, and how that was a big negative on his career. But I mean, the guy won 8 golds at World Championships, 2 at the Olympics. He was fantastic for Russia and the Soviet Union. Other possibilities: Rob Brindamore, Boris Mikhailov, obviously the longtime captain. And remember, this obviously the NHL Hall of Fame is all of hockey. It's not just USA. It's not just Canada. It's not just NHL. It's all hockey. So someone like Boris Mikhailov can be in it from his career over in Russia and CSKA. I don't think Roenick's going to make it. Zetterberg, a very good player. But I guess my question to you guys is, besides who do you think can make it, they always take 6 people, right? And if you go just the definites, the locks, I would think Daniel Henrik Sedin are there. Caroline Ouellet, that's 3. I would think, definitely Luongo and McGillney, that's 5. And then maybe you take someone like, Tikhonov or someone else. But is there a point where they shouldn't be taking players like, some of these players, such as a Daniel Alfredson or a Brindamore, or because instead of it's not a Hall of Fame anymore, it's just a Hall of Very Good, and I already think it's kind of watered down in some of the people that have been, honored in the NHL Hall of Fame, or the Hockey Hall of Fame. But so I just want to get your thoughts. You think it's too much?
It's interesting that you say that, and I think I never actually thought about it that way, because it was just like they have a set number of inductees every single year, and they basically stick to it. Should it just be
the best, or whoever gets the
maybe
most votes.
one or two, like at a time.
Why does it have to
if
be
they
6 every year?
deserve
Why
to
don't
be
they
in.
just do like
Just
top
just
3
kind of
or
what
4
they
or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, but
just kind of what they have.
That's interesting
Fighting.
what you say, that the Hall of Very Good, because you're right. There's guys that have, good stats. They were very good players. They were good leaders. They might have a cup, might not have a cup. Might have some hardware trophies, as heart trophies, whatever, Lady Bings, whatever. That's an interesting point you bring up there, and I think I kind of agree with you. I think there really is, when you really break it down to like the top, I don't know how many players should be in the Hall of Fame. If you think all the way back to the start of the league, top 100 players of all time, I don't know, and just like add from there the guys that have massive, like shoe in Alex Ovechkin, shoe in Sidney Crosby, Jaromir Jagr, obviously when he finally stops playing.
So guys that are in the Hall of Fame that I don't think belong, right? Guy Carbonneau, who was, a compiler. I mean, I know he was a good two-way forward. He won the Selke 3 different times. Obviously made him really good, but he was more one-dimensional. He won the Stanley Cup with the Canadiens in '93. He's one that I don't think that should be there. Especially when you have guys like McGillney, a guy that I do think is a Hall of Famer. It also goes, and I'm not going to go into the older players because that's a little tough. I mean, I remember Guy Carbonneau at least. But you have guys that I think you have to be the best in the NHL for a 5-year period, right? So, people that claim Chris Osgood should be there. I mean, he won cups, but he wasn't the best goalie in the NHL.
I mean, I don't even think he was a good goalie. He was a good enough goalie, and on a really good team.
Yeah, but I mean, so that also I don't agree with that. They ask about
think of the guys. Think of the guys that you think of the guys that right now who aren't eligible, but are a shoo-in, without a doubt shoo-in. Off the top of my head, you can say McDavid. He's got a very young career, but Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, Jaromir Jagr. Like, none of those guys that you mentioned are eligible, are even close to the player that any of those three are at all. I mean, those three are tops to ever play, and these other guys are just like complimentary, basically. Not that they were bad, but they're not. You're right. You're right. I never actually I'm just kind of thinking about like who's in and who deserves it based on stats and what they did, and it's just like, okay, well, there's 6 going in, these guys should go in, but maybe you're right. Maybe there's too many people in. Same with all sports, right? It's the same concept, and it's just like you think the Hall of Famers, and you're just like, really?
I think it's also based on like when the year comes around, who's eligible. Like if it's like like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel of who's actually eligible, and they have to. But
that's the thing.
6 people out of that group.
That's the thing. I don't think they should. I think that's been a mistake from the start. There shouldn't just be every year we put 6 people in. I think that's, I don't know. I think you're right. And I think it's watering down the Hall of Fame.
Obviously, we read The Athletic, and there was an article that Down Goes Brown does where he ranked every single Hockey Hall of Fame class. And I'm just going to go over the ones that he ranked as like the worst, so you can see kind of. So Dino Ciccarelli was 2010, and I don't think Dino Ciccarelli was a Hall of Famer. He had a 19-year career. I just don't think he was.
There's plenty of guys you can say are in the Hall, and a lot of us will be surprised that they're Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Glenn Anderson. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Former Edmonton Oiler, great. I mean, I'm just trying to go for the newer guys that at least I know a little. I'm not going to say guys like Nels Stewart. I've never even heard of some of these guys, but Sergei Zubov in 2019. He's kind of on the fence.
He was legitimately one of the best offensive defensemen. For defensemen, I think it's different. It's very different for defensemen because I think it's a lot tougher for a forward to really judge how they are. But like those types of defensemen are few and far between.
He was one of the tops in the league for a while, so I think he should definitely be be in there. And yeah, definitely, it's so. I think it's you. Wait, you were saying it's harder, you think, for a forward than a defenseman?
I think so, because I think a player like
So many good
Zubov, there's
forwards.
not many. There are not many
Yeah.
like Zubov that have played the game. So and Gonchar is another one. Do you put Gonchar in the Hall of Fame? Stats were great. Solid forever, really. Top defenseman for his entire career. Cup winner.
I think he falls into that very good category.
I don't think Gonchar is in the same category as Zubov. I think they're comparable.
If you think
Zubov,
I think I have Zubov. I think I have Zubov ahead of him.
Yeah,
Gonchar's like an awesome player. I would definitely, anybody would want him on his team. But I don't know, Hall of Fame. I don't know.
So Sean McIndoe, who wrote this article, was saying that he saw that since it was like 1970, only 5 goaltenders have actually been inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that's kind of where he was getting at. Is that maybe goalies it's a little tougher. The what you really are looking for in terms of what you're really looking for in terms of stats and so on and so forth. That's where it kind of goalies can. I guess they get booted out a little bit. So he was talking about Chris Osgood, who I don't think is a Hall of Famer. But one person he brought up, which I was kind of interested in, is Jonathan Quick. He has over 300 wins. He's got 2 Stanley Cups. He was, in his heyday, a top 5 goaltender. He was one of the better, probably top 5 at least for a 5-year period. Does that make him a Hall of Famer?
Would you put a goaltender in the Hall of Fame who never won a Vezina?
But he should have won in 2012. If you look at that year, he should have absolutely won. That was when
if he has other accolades but no Vezina, I don't know. I could maybe see it.
So he's won a Conn Smythe. He's won. He won a Conn Smythe. He won. He's multiple award. Oh, actually, 2012 was Henrik Lundqvist, and without that one,
wow.
Oh, maybe somebody mute from Henrik.
Somebody
mute
Dean. That's taking it. One.
He's taking it from Henrik.
Ooh, I did not. That sucks.
I'm assuming he's the. Is he the team's like all-time leader in a bunch of categories?
He is. Yeah, I think he's the leader in a lot of them. Man, that just ruined everything I wanted to put for this. So Hank got 120 votes out of the total. 17 first versus Quick 6.
So he's not eligible for Hall of Fame this season?
Hank?
Yeah.
No, 3-year waiting period, right? 3 to 5 years. I think the only person that'll ever happen again where they there's 2 players right
Mario.
now. Well, maybe 3.
Yager.
No, Mario's so they did this for Bobby Orr. They didn't have a waiting period. Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, Jean Beliveau, and then Mario. And I think the only players that you would do that for coming up would be Crosby, Ovechkin,
Yager.
and McDavid.
Yager.
But he's already been past 5 years. Well, see,
he's still playing.
I don't count that. I don't think the NHL counts that. I really don't. I think
they do. Otherwise, he would have been in by now. Yeah, if that doesn't count, he would have been in by now.
Yager should absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. Yager should absolutely have not a waiting period. I think those 4 have no waiting periods.
Yeah.
And I say McDavid because if he quits right now, that 5-year span, he was absolutely one of the best players in the hockey.
Well, if he quits, just straight quits right now, he's not making it to the Hockey Hall of Fame. But obviously, he's at the pace he's going. And here's another thing, not to talk about the Hockey Hall of Fame for this entire podcast, but if McDavid continues to just rack up massive points, Art Ross trophies, Hart trophies, and never wins a cup, is he still absolute shoo-in?
He's still a Hall of Famer.
Dan Marino? Is Dan Marino not a top 5 quarterback because he didn't win a Super Bowl?
No, you're right. I'm just bringing up a point. I'm not saying that he doesn't. I'm just saying.
So wondering. 2 things now that we kind of went into that. I'm going to get into 2 different things. So, and we just talked about McDavid, and we just talked about Hank. So, my question to you guys is, I'm going through this. Who is the greatest modern day player to never win a cup? Is it Joe Thornton, Jerome McGinley, or Henrik Lundqvist? Thornton, right?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Those
are only 3 choices.
Well, modern day. I mean, who else do you think would be better than?
You could throw like Patrick Marleau in there, but I don't think Marleau's up there with the other guys.
Not with
but you know what? I think probably Lundqvist.
Yeah.
Joe Thornton's been irrelevant for a while.
Sucks.
Henrik was never.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, Hank was the best goalie at one time, and Thornton was the best player at one time, so it makes sense.
Yeah, at one time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think Iginla would be 3, and then probably Thornton, Lundqvist. Son of a bitch. Stupid Rangers. Ruin his goddamn career.
It's his own fault. It's not the Rangers. It's his own fault. He refused to leave, and that was his choice.
Yeah,
it was pretty obvious they weren't going to win.
Yeah, I know.
And then he did, and then obviously, medical issues. Just a shame, but
yeah, I know.
He had a chance to come to Tampa. He could have won.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Yeah. All right. So speaking of McDavid Gretzky, McDavid became the 6th fastest player in NHL history to 600 points. He did it in 421 games. He's the only player to not play in the high-scoring 80s. That was obviously you had Gretzky, you had Jari Kurri, and there's someone else that hit 600 faster. He trails only Gretzky, who did 600 points in 274 games. He trails Lemieux at 323, Stastny at 394. Stastny was the other player. And then Bossy at 400 and Jari Kurri at 419. Crosby's 427. He had 600 points, so 6 games faster. The McDavid goal versus the Rangers was ridiculous. And then who do you destroy in the next one? There was another one that he just did recently. Was that
didn't he do something against Winnipeg?
Players? Yeah, it was Winnipeg. He went through 3 players. So 2 questions, and then I'll get to my Gretzky fact, which puts all this into shame. So Torts, I don't know if you heard his comments about him needing – this is McDavid, and about him needing to change his game in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And, he got a lot of flack for it, and, I just figured I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think he's right? Does someone like McDavid –
what did Torts say
in the playoffs?
That's what he said.
He basically said that that McDavid needed to change his game in the playoffs if they ever wanted to win.
He needed to be a better all-around player.
A better all-around player.
I mean, he does need to be a good all-around player, but his team needs to be better. He can't do everything himself.
That's the thing.
He needs a better. He needs a better supporting cast. He needs a supporting cast that can do that.
A goalie? Stuff. How about that? How about you get a goalie?
Yeah, a goalie, a defenseman, a better defenseman. No, but so then a lot of people brought up Ovechkin and how he changed his game, and that's why the Capitals won the cup. If I remember rightly,
he did.
Ovi scored goals in that cup win. He didn't change he didn't all of a sudden become a defensive player, right? They needed goal scoring.
When on earth did he? When on earth did he change his game?
A lot of morons say that Ovechkin.
No, he became. It was not Ovechkin who changed his game. It was Barry Trotz who came in there and changed the entire environment of the Washington Capitals and created them the way that they were and made the team complete. It wasn't. I mean, obviously Ovechkin probably rounded out his game a little more because the coach is barking that he's got to play this style, but he didn't change his game at all. I mean, it's just like positioning and breakouts and stuff. That's it. Different structure, not the game. And I think, obviously, I appreciate Torts saying something like this and keeping talking points exciting, but obviously I can't imagine there's a single person, unless there's somebody out there. I'm sure Edmonton has rivals and there's guys out there who hate McDavid. I don't hear about it often because he's so damn good. But it's just who out there agrees with him. I don't think a single person does.
You have to be an idiot. I really think that.
But I mean, good for Torts for creating this type of. I mean,
it was
exciting because it was exciting for McDavid to kind of go back at him, and give his own little thing. I mean, good for McDavid, but no, he doesn't need to change his game. They need better. They just need better structure. They need better supporting cast. Bottom 6. They need better defense. They need a better goalie.
Yeah. What does Torts want?
If I remember rightly,
he wants him to focus more defensively.
Coach of the Rangers?
Yeah, just wants him to fucking clog. I'm sorry, I just cursed. He wants him to clog the middle, block shots, be like a Ryan Callahan, right? Because that's
Make the best player in hockey
Torts'
Ryan Callahan.
favorite player.
Yeah,
break his femur.
Rightly,
and then
in the playoffs, you have to score to win hockey games, right? So I figured you would want your best player and the best scorer in the league to be the scorer. But what do I know?
McDavid needs to just keep doing what he's doing, and the rest of the team needs to figure something out.
He needs to keep what he's doing, but in the playoffs, it's what you keep out of your net. I think is way more important than trying to run up the score every night.
That's not his responsibility, though. I would never put that on him to be like, you're in charge of making sure.
Has to be like that. The team has to play that way.
We're not putting McDavid. Yeah, we're not playing McDavid like Bergeron, where you're looking for matchups where Bergeron can shut somebody down, but at the same time, counterattack and score. That's just not what it is. No. You're matching him up against. You're trying to take advantage of matchups so McDavid can undress teams like he does so often.
Yeah,
I don't even think matchups matter, to be honest with you. But
put a ridiculously talented defensive-minded winger on his line, and then just have him and whoever you want, Kyle Yamamoto or Puljujarvi, have them create, and then have the other guy, playing that shutdown role, especially in the D zone where he flip-flops into the center role and he can go down low and McDavid can stay on the wing. I mean, there's tons of things that they could do to make him better.
Lord forbid we get John Tortorella hired by the Edmonton Oilers when they inevitably fizzle out in the playoffs again. And if management, I mean, it's going to be.
Could you imagine?
I don't want it. That could be McDavid. That could be McDavid leaving Edmonton. He could drive out another superstar. Why not? Right?
So
bench him for a period, and then that'll be it. That'll be it.
And this was so I go to Boston and I'm driving up. I'm in New Canaan, Connecticut, and I'm at a diner, and the guy is a Edmonton Oilers fan, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying watching McDavid, but I know he's going to be a Ranger in 3 years." And I was like, "That would be awesome." And then I have another Boston idiot, a Bruins fan, was like, "Yeah, McDavid's going to be a Ranger in like 3 or 4 years." I'm like, "Please, guys, like keep your mouth to God's ears. Like, let's hear it." So I was very happy about that stuff. But Ovi passes Hull for 4th all time. But this is my Gretzky stat for you guys. Gretzky was both the fastest and the second fastest to record 1,000 points in NHL history. So the fastest and the second fastest. The fewest number of NHL games required to reach the mark was 424, set by Gretzky for his first 1,000. The second quickest was Mario Lemieux, achieving the mark in 513 games. Gretzky was also the second fastest because he did his second 1,000 points from 1,001 to 2,000 in 433 games. So 2 1,000-point careers in less than 857 games. That's bonkers. Wild. Yeah, just absolutely crazy. He scored his 1,000th NHL point before age 23.
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts.
It's a different time period.
22 years old.
Different. Yeah, it is.
A lot of goals.
Still crazy.
A lot of goals. Obviously, extremely impressive.
Leading to the Penguins.
If the goaltending was like it is now, back then, he's not even close.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
he's not even close.
Even in the 90s.
I still think with today's training and what it's become, he is still otherworldly.
Oh, definitely.
Like, he would be McDavid now if he was playing now.
Because of his brain?
And also the training.
Because of his
daily.
His sandpaperness.
It's really hard to gauge because also beyond obviously the goalies being significantly better, the teams now are significantly better. So you have fourth line guys playing now that would be easily top line guys back then.
Yeah. But also the rules changes. I mean, they've obviously, you can't hack guys. Gretzky would be getting power plays all the time.
Yeah.
I think that, you
can't really at some point somebody will like mathematically and scientifically break this down to see exactly what
per era.
how you can compare.
Yeah,
how you can compare somebody from this era to that era with some sort of formulation.
All right. We talked about Crosby leading to the Penguins being sold to the Fenway Group. Steve, are you worried about them getting relegated? Obviously, they're
relegated.
Liverpool. they're Liverpool, and Fenway owns Liverpool and the Red Sox.
They have massive success, success, and lots of championships. It's good. It's good for the franchise.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, that's one of the big talks is about how these corporations are now buying multiple teams, and it's no longer just like an owner with a face. It's a corp kind of thing.
Although Mario he'll still be involved.
Yeah,
and I forget
he
how,
just won't be
but
owner, right?
I think he has part ownership. He's involved in something else. I don't remember what it was. No, gotcha. He won't be. It's good for the Penguins. I mean, they need it. So this is trying times, and I think it comes at a good time because, as we're all seeing, and everybody's been talking about, is how long is this window open? And they have no prospects in the pool to really take over. When
it's going to be bad.
First of all, who knows if Malkin and Letang need to be extended, if they're going to be extended. And then, when Crosby's done, there's nobody in line. So if they're going to hit the reset button and hopefully not end up like they were in the early 2000s, at least this new ownership company, I think, can make things right. And obviously it's up to management to transition them however they're going to transition. But it's exciting for the organization and for the city of Pittsburgh, obviously, that this ownership company is coming in.
If they only extended one of those two players, Malkin or Letang, who would you want?
I want both. I don't know if I'm going to keep one, probably Letang at this point. Letang? He still is eating minutes like crazy. When he's on, he is one of the best defensemen in the league. He can make some of the most boneheaded plays in the league too, but he's not the guy that you see that's at the wrong end of a highlight reel too often, or at all. So he's a solid, smart. Well, I use this word smart loosely because I don't know how smart he actually is, but he does have a lot of skill, which I think makes up for it. But yeah, I would. I mean, you need these guys. If they're coming back, they need to take significant discounts. I don't know if they will. They both love the city immensely. They might learn from Crosby and just, they want to stay here. They want to retire here. They want to stick together. They just come up with some sort of, obviously they're not signing for league minimum. But at the same time, it's like, they deserve to get paid. They're still skilled. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have no idea. I hope they take a hometown discount, like a significant hometown discount. But yeah, like you said, 5. If they're making 5, great. I don't know if they're going to, but we'll see.
All right. Couple quick fire questions. Who is your most disappointing team through the first 20 or so games of the season?
It's got to be Colorado, right?
They're pretty disappointing.
All right, so you're going Colorado 8-5-1.
They're not awful, but you thought they would be much better.
8-5-1, 14 games, 17 points.
I think the Islanders are one of the most disappointing teams right now.
Islanders,
Chicago again, probably too.
5-8-2, 12 points in 15 games. I'm going to go the Vancouver Canucks, who were supposed to be that third team in the Pacific Division. 6-11-2.
Stanley Cup pick a couple years ago.
Yeah, last year.
Last year? No, it was the year before.
No, it was last year.
It was last year. Oh shit.
Last year was bad. They had a good. I mean, well, they really looked like they were building something in that playoffs before then. But maybe it was just that freaking COVID bubble.
Travis Green looked awesome, and as a coach, and now he's kind of been real bad. But who's your most disappointing player?
Can you name like the entire Dallas Stars roster?
I like that. That's good. Yeah.
Their stars are just. I mean, Jamie Benn's been better, but
I might go Islanders again. Barzell.
All right, can you name?
It's been hot garbage.
I'll go to Barzell in a minute, but can you name the leading scorer for the Dallas Stars?
Is it a defenseman?
Is it Ryan Suter?
No.
Is it Heiskanen?
It is Mir Heiskanen. 13 points in 16 games. You have Pavelski at 10 points in 16 games.
Wow.
Jamie Benn's got 9 points. Sagan's got 9 points, but they're
look at
fives.
Radulov, Sagan, Ben.
Yep.
And Klingberg.
Sagan,
all terrible.
Yeah. Radulov with 7 points, 1 goal in 16 games. Klingberg, 3 assists in 12 games, -8.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yep.
Yikes.
Schwim, you said the ever lovely Matthew Barzal.
Yeah, what's he got going?
Do you know who leads the
I
team in
think.
points?
What does he have?
Steve, 8 points on the dot, -8 though.
Yikes.
Yeah, Brock Nelson leads the team. 9 goals, 2 assists, 11 points in 15 games.
So that shouldn't be. Barzal should be far and away their best player, and he's not. He's been hot garbage.
And
yeah,
for
those Islander fans, trivia question: who's the first person to ever score in the new UBS Arena? It would be the one and only Brock Nelson.
For the Islanders, you mean?
Yeah, he scored the first ever goal in UBS Arena.
I thought Calgary did.
No, I mean for the Islanders. Sorry,
for the Islanders, player. Yeah. So I think Mangiapane scored the first, didn't he?
He's on fire.
Yeah, Mangiapane, speaking of
guys,
not disappointing, but yeah, opposite. He's very good. My player would have been Elias Pettersson, also going with the Vancouver Canucks. He's been real bad. He just looks like he's snake bit. I know he's got 10 points in 19 games, but
you don't want him anymore now.
I do. No, I would take him in a heartbeat. I'd still give up
product of the team
for him. You give me, I'll give him Kapokako and something else for Elias Pettersson. Minus Edmonton and Vegas, who makes the playoffs in the Pacific? Who do you say are the other teams?
I'm sorry, minus who?
Minus Edmonton and Vegas.
Is that Calgary's leading that division right now?
So Calgary leads. So you think they would make it?
I mean,
they should,
keep playing the way
unless
they
tank.
They get hurt or something like that. But
so at 3 you have Anaheim, at 5 you have Kings, at 6 San Jose,
I can't imagine Anaheim keeping this pace up and throughout the whole year.
10,
I mean, they can be
10-5-3.
A surprise team or something like that and battle for a.
It's a pretty bad division. So
it's not good. But I don't.
Some of these teams are playing better than we thought that they would, but it's still pretty lousy. So I think you're still going to have some teams that do better than we think that they're going to do. But I think Calgary at this point should definitely be a shoo-in, especially in that division. You expect Vegas, obviously, and Edmonton, of course. I would say those 3. And then I don't know about the wild card, if any of them are going to make the wild card, but maybe Anaheim.
No, it shouldn't.
Calgary looks legit. That game the other night against Boston, they beat them 4-0.
Yeah,
they dominated them, and that's a good Boston
Rangers
team. So
twice
they look good right now. They got to stay consistent, and I think they'll definitely be all right. They could be even though they're in first. I don't want to say they're a dark horse, but they could maybe do some damage.
The other big thing with them is they've played only 6 games at home. They're 2-1-3. Away, they're 9-2-2.
Oh, and Sean Monahan still stinks, by the way.
Yeah, Sean Monahan really does stink. Yeah, who dropped him in our fantasy league? Was that you?
Me. I drafted him and dropped him.
Yeah.
Third line crud.
Yeah, I mean, Gaudreau is awesome. Johnny be good. They just have been on fire. Mangiapane, he has what? He's got 15 goals? Yeah, Mangiapane has 15 goals. Elias Lindholm's been really great for them on that top line. Matthew Tkachuk's really good. Oliver Killington.
Markstrom's playing out of his mind.
Rasmus Anderson has been solid.
Mm-hmm. Hell, even Noah Hannafin
taking over that number
plus
1.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good.
Milan Lucic.
They're good. Who's their backup goalie?
Their backup goaltender is Dan Vladar, former Boston
Vladar.
Bruin, who just went into
solid
Boston
backup.
and got the shutout. Yeah. I mean, their goaltending, obviously, Markstrom's been awesome. 14 wins, 7 wins, a 171 goals against, a 942 save percentage. Vladar, even better. In 5 games, he's 157 goals against and a 946 save percentage. 2 shutouts.
I was surprised that Boston gave up on him as quickly as they did.
Well, because they have Linus Ullmark, they have Tuukka, and they have Swayman, who they really like.
Well, that's the thing. Did they need Ullmark? Or could they have just been with Vladar? Could they have just ridden Vladar and Swayman
I think they could have done that.
Basically league minimum, you know?
Yeah, they should have probably.
What are they going to say? What I don't know what Calgary signed Vladar for, but Boston easily could have signed Vladar for that, especially if they had plans like, our backup plan is Tuukka Rask. He's going to come back sometime. So if these guys don't pan out, we have Rask on the horizon.
Yeah, I guess they just wanted a vet.
I mean,
or something. But if they had to bring Rask back,
they're not even playing Ullmark though. It's just still they're riding Swayman, so it's Swayman's.
They might lose one
Ullmark's
of them.
Making what 5 to 6, right?
Yeah.
The other day they played Swayman on the back-to-back nights. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He won both games.
Yeah.
I mean, Ullmark just played in one, but still.
Quickly on the leading scorers, Leon Draisaitl, 35 points, 18 goals, 17 assists. He leads all goal scorers with 18. That's crazy. In 17 games. McDavid at 12-20 for 32.
Fun fact about Leon Draisaitl, real quick. He has more power play goals than the entire Penguins team.
Yeah, he's got 9.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has, I think, 6. Maybe 7.
Alex Ovechkin, and it's not so much the 15 goals, it's the 15 assists. He has 30 points in 19 games. He's actually been passing the puck, which is pretty impressive. Kuznetsov also up there, number 4, and then Gaudreau and him and Kyle Connor and Troy Terry, another very upstart player.
Troy Terry's on isn't he on like a 15-game point streak or something right now?
Yeah, something crazy. Yeah.
I think he's still doing it. See what happens with Ovechkin when he doesn't have his controller disconnect? You can rack up all these points.
Artemi Panarin, somewhat ranked at 10, but 19 points in 18 games. Adam Fox leads defenseman in points with 18 and 18. And then
Hedman tied with him?
Hedman, 17 and 17.
There you go.
All right, so a couple other quick questions. Well, not a question, but Brendan Gallagher sucks. He had the sucker punch of our boy Barclay Goodrow, who's very innocent.
Also embellished.
Gallagher can suck it. Absolutely embellished. Pizzetta, did you see him fight Ryan Reeves? The guy is tiny. He just managed to square off with a pro.
I heard what was I think what Tommy was telling me he was watching the game, because I asked him about this very question, and I was like, didn't that the guy that fought Ryan Reeves? And he's like, yeah, he got hit and then he turned around just like looking to fight, dropped the gloves, and then realized it was Ryan Reeves.
It was Ryan Reeves. Yeah, and then what do you do in that point? You still have to go forward. You have
it's like, well, no backing out, no backing down now. We'll come too far.
But if you look, Reeves actually goes to center ice, and he's just kind of like dancing around Pizzetta, and Pizzetta just didn't want to engage immediately. I felt so bad.
Isn't Pizzetta? Isn't that like little pizza or something in Italian also?
Probably.
That's Tostino.
A couple notes that we missed while we were away. Colliton was fired. Derek King took over for Chicago. Some guy named Jack Eichel was traded to Vegas for Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuck, a top 10 protected first, and a 2023 second. First of all, the fact that it's top 10 protected, that's an embarrassment that they didn't get more than they should have, but whatever. Quick question. Marner or Nylander? Who would you rather have?
Marner.
With contract.
Marner.
With the contract.
Well, my team's contracts don't matter, so I'll take Marner.
You just stack him on IR.
Doesn't matter. We'll take anybody.
What are the prices? I know Marner's 10, right?
Yeah, and I think the other guys had 6. Nylander's at 6. Toronto Maple Leafs. Sport Track.
Holy bounces,
Batman. Why didn't
Yeah, watch the Penguins Winnipeg. Winnipeg just scored, and it was like 3 consecutive block shots that bounced directly to a Winnipeg stick and finally went in.
Okay. Marner is Marner's at 10.9 for the next 4 years, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then Nylander is at 6.9, so 7 for the next 3 years.
How old are each of they?
Nylander is clicking on his name. It's not coming up quick enough. Nylander's 25 years old, and Mitch Marner, I want to say he's probably the same age.
Marner's a better player, but that is a massive contract.
It's $4 million more. Marner's 24.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'd rather Marner over Nylander. I'd probably take I have to choose one of them, and it can't be just like Toronto can keep him. I guess I'm going to choose Nylander. Unless I'm building a franchise. Am I building a franchise? Because I think I
just told you.
Even then,
just choose one.
Just to my team right now. Just choose one. I guess. Okay, Nylander. Just because of the contract. I guess.
Am I circumventing? Because if I am, I'm taking Marner.
Well,
of
obviously,
course you are.
You guys can. Marner leads the team in 17 points in 20 games, and Nylander has 16 in 20 games, if that makes a difference. Both are about 20 minutes. It doesn't. All right, so before we bid adieu, we got a couple more things quickly. I am trying to go really quick to stats. Do you know who leads the league in plus-minus? Actually, I already talked about him. Elias Lindholm, Calgary, at the positive.
Oh, wow.
And do you know who leads the league in negative?
Is it still Sergachev?
Somebody on Arizona, no?
It is Arizona, and it's a guy that I didn't think he would lead the league in negative, but I guess he's that bad. Chychrun, yeah. He's minus 21. The next closest is Dvorak from Montreal at minus 15.
Yeah, he was on my fantasy team.
Also,
Jay Beagle still plays.
Coyote. So why not?
Yeah,
he's playing for Arizona.
He took that to Montreal with him. It's plus-minus.
Jay Beagle, 19 games played, 0 goals, 0 assists, minus 15.
Yeah, but you know what? He does really well.
Play defense.
Wins face-off.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Marcus Foligno leads the league in PIMS.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Just
because Schwim asked about face-offs. The league leader for face-off wins, Bo Horvat, Vancouver.
What about percentage?
Instead of percentage-wise, we are talking about, well, that doesn't really count 100% for some of these guys. Let me go to the most taken.
Is it?
Yeah, let's go. Patrice Bergeron, 62.7%.
Damn.
And then Claude Giroux, second.
He's phenomenal.
Actually, they're both tied at 62.7. Claude Giroux's done really well as well. All right. Going through this quickly, Brady Tkachuk is the new captain of the Senators. That happened a little while ago. He's 22-year-old, his first captain since Carlson. He signed a 7-year deal in October. Shabbat's the co-captain per DJ Smith.
That's weird.
All right, so here. The Coyotes are abysmal, and this is funny. In 2017-18, the Coyotes started the season 0-10-1. They claimed goalie Scott Wedgwood on waivers, and in Wedgwood's first start, he gets the Coyotes their first win. Fast forward, 21-22, Coyotes start the season 0-10-1, same record. Claimed goalie Scott Wedgwood on waivers, and in his first start, he gets the win for the Coyotes.
Something about the coaches too, right?
Yeah, I didn't.
There's something about the coach. Like I think you beat the same coach twice in both. Some crazy stat like that too.
Probably.
And then he got lit up for 14 goals the next night.
All right, and then here's my last thing. Goalies have been absolutely ridiculous this year. Demko's save on Ben with the stick in midair was awesome, or the blockerless Scorpion save on Artemi Panarin, which was crazy. Igor Shesterkin having the Vezina caliber year per ClearSight Analytics. Shesty leads shot quality and performance per shot quality, which is 12 goals above expected, which would shatter what Marc-Andre Fleury did last year in his Vezina season. Per Unmasked, his ability to move around in the crease while on knees is the best in the league. He's pretty much the main reason the Rangers are where they are in the standings. No, but I got more stuff. Vasilevsky. Yeah. Vasilevsky, naturally right-handed. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah,
but couldn't get a righty glove in Russia, although his dad was a pro goalie and coach.
Yeah, he learned to play opposite.
Yeah, he learned to play opposite because he couldn't get a freaking glove. That's crazy that his own dad, and I want Steve to come back for this next part because he's going to like this. It's all about our boy, Robin Leonard. But yeah, I mean, Vasi, just the fact that he couldn't get a righty glove while his dad was a pro goalie coach is crazy. But yeah, Shesterkin with the unmasked thing, apparently that's a stat that they have that he is the quickest laterally while on his knees in the league. I mean, just bonkers. Shwem, I don't know if you saw this. U.S. I know. We'll go back to the goalies in a second because I do want Steve to hear this. But U.S. Olympic roster D pairings. Did you see who that they have paired on the first pair with Adam Fox?
I came back.
Ryan McDonough.
All right. Ryan McDonough. Wow. Boom.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So the last iteration of the U.S. pairings per The Athletic, they had Ryan McDonough on a D pair with Adam Fox. I love it.
I don't know if he should be on the top D pair, but I think he should definitely be there. He's having an awesome season.
Yeah.
He's been really, really good.
Talked about Vasi and his right-handed glove, whatever. Next stuff is about our boy Robin Leonard. His nickname Panda, which apparently came to him because his son was watching Kung Fu Panda and said, "Dad, you're fat like him." So that's why he's nicknamed Panda.
Just wait till Sarah can talk.
Apparently, yeah, no, exactly, yeah. And apparently, in his
that's gonna be
when
he's gonna be Poe.
I like it.
He's gonna be Hurricane. No, he's gonna be Hurricane Panda.
Hurricane, I like that. Okay. Apparently, when he went to Vegas, he got in a wrestling match with Ryan Reeves and just tossed him across the room. They say that Robin Leonard might be the strongest player in the league. I don't doubt it.
He's a big dude.
He was talking about, this was all through Spit and Chicklets, how he gets fat over the break to enjoy his vacations, and then he also needs a mental break, so he just eats whatever he wants and he gets fat. And he then kills himself to get back into shape right before training camp. He has, I didn't realize, he has the worst record ever in shootouts.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Yeah, he's terrible
goalie in history of shootouts.
Yeah.
You watch him; he gets lit up every shootout.
And
yeah, he's not good.
He says, "Do you know the reason why?"
No, I mean I don't know what he said.
He says it's because he's fat. Because he can't because he can't move because the guy on a breakaway, right? The guys don't move as fast because they have guys trailing them or they just want to make a quick decision. But he says, well, they have like all this room to like move around and stuff. He can't go laterally from one side to the other fast enough because he's too fat. So I
thought who's second worst?
Is it Fleury?
No, Fleury's very good at shootouts.
I figured. You know who's the best at shootouts?
Bassey. I didn't ask that. I asked who's the second worst.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad.
Who's the second worst?
Matt Smith.
Hank.
Oh, damn it.
Mike Smith. Yeah, that makes sense. He is apparently the youngest Swedish-born goalie to ever play in the NHL. He was 18 when he made his first start, and he's 30 now and in his 12th season. So the Panda, Robin Leonard, fantastic. I love this guy. And, yeah, great. All right, let me see if Mr. Wu.
Hurricane Panda.
Hurricane Poe.
Hurricane Poe. I mean, pretty awesome.
Panda Man.
Okay. Some trivia.
Puma
so
Man.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Art Ross was a player, and he has the Art Ross Trophy named after him.
No way. Get out of town.
Why?
You don't say.
Why is his scoring title so? I guess I need to phrase this maybe a little better. But what is so good about Art Ross? Yeah, nice.
Here I am.
Oh, Melvin.
What is the fact about Art Ross that you do not know that would lead the scoring title to kind of be an aberration?
He had 3 testicles.
Nope.
I have no idea what you're asking.
I have no idea.
So Art Ross actually only played in 3 NHL games and has 1 career point.
Okay.
But he has the Art Ross Trophy, which is the league scoring title named after him.
Why?
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know.
All right. That's the most important question.
Right. Beer, 4.5.
4.
Treehouse, 4.
3.75 because of the artwork.
3.
Schwim, take her home.
Thanksgiving's coming up, so happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hug your family members, tell them you love them.
November.
And, Movember, yeah. No Shave November and Movember. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Wow.